See WM95.6.
Your voice in the West Midlands.
It's 3:35, Sunny and Shay here on BBC WM95.6. Now, it was a fantastic night last night at the BAFTAs. Sunny and I, we stayed up till late watching it, and specifically for local boy Nuneaton. He's from Nuneaton. He now lives in Lancashire. Stinson Hunter. Channel 4 documentary about his internet crusade. It was called The Paedophile Hunter. It won the Best Single Documentary category at the British Academy of Film and Television Awards yesterday night. Now, the film about Hunter, it all documents his battle against growing sexual grooming of young people by paedophiles. It took the BAFTA ahead of three other nominated documentaries: Baby P, The Untold Story, The Miners' Strike, and Children of Syria. Stinson, welcome to Afternoon Tea here on BBC WM. I bet you're thrilled.
I'm absolutely blown away that something that I started in a bedroom in Nuneaton in 2009 has now been viewed by millions, and it's been recognised by probably the most prestigious award people in my eyes in the world. This is the one that at the start of the film, you know, I knew Dan had won BAFTAs and stuff before, and I was like, oh, is this going to be your third BAFTA? Like, joking around and stuff, just joking. Yeah. You know, oh, this is going to be your third BAFTA, mate. Like, you know, I'm not a confident guy. I'll talk the talk, but I can't walk the walk. But I wanted to win this. I wanted this one so much because I'm a massive fan of film. I'm a massive documentary fan. It's all I do is all day is if I've got a free day, I'll watch documentaries. I like to educate myself. So I haven't slept. You know, I was up at 5:30 yesterday morning, and I haven't really. I had about an hour. I think I managed to get an hour, but for me, it's really important that, you know, the award thing is amazing. It's absolutely fantastic. But for me, the most important thing is that a very serious issue has been acknowledged again by, the most elite sort of, in my opinion, most elite awards people in the world. So, you know, we've been through a lot. We've been all of us have been through a lot through the making of it. You know, I almost died 2 weeks before it was made. Like, I'd signed up to do it. I didn't get paid for making it, but I'd signed up to do it. Right. And 2 weeks later, I was run over. The guy was just convicted last week of that.
Was he connected to any of the documentaries that you were doing, the guy who ran you over?
He was in the document. You actually see footage of the hit and run, but that's about as much as you know, I'll talk about it briefly, that, you know, what my injuries and whatnot. And at that point, I didn't think I was going to go through with it. You know, when I woke up the next morning, I couldn't move. My whole body felt like I'd been run over.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, that's how it feels. It's weird. Like, when people feels like I've been run over, it feels exactly like that. And I didn't think it was going to happen, but I was in hospital for a week. The week after I got out of hospital was the first day of shooting, which is when we caught the guy that was trying to meet the 11-year-old child. And we just, all of us just ploughed everything we could into this. And there's been arguments, I've walked out of the project so many times. I don't know how Dan coped with it, because we were all it was a highly, highly stressful situation. It wasn't just a bunch of friends having a laugh, it was highly stressful. So to then be acknowledged by BAFTA for the hard work that not only myself, Stubbsy, Grime, Kev and Mark, who used to run my admin, you know, it's also a pat on the back to Tom Costello, Dan Reed, Chloe Simmons, Tom Percy, Rachel Norton, and everybody else that was involved in the commissioning of it. Because what people don't realise is that how brave this commission was. This sort of film had never been done before. The content, you know, to put a guy in the film that had tried to meet an 11-year-old child, an 11-year-old autistic child for sex, to put that in there whilst he wasn't convicted and wasn't even charged, was a really, really brave move on Channel 4's part. And, you know, and the award kind of gives a nod to that.
And if people haven't seen the documentary, where can they find it now, if anybody wanted to watch it now?
I believe it's still available on 4OD.
Right.
It is available on 4OD, but if people can't get hold of it, if people can't find it, if they go to my page, my admin's pretty good with directing people in the right way. Some people might struggle finding it on 4OD. I know people have in the past, but if they want to head over to my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Stinson Hunter Official, my admin will gladly point them in the right direction.
Now, this puts you in another position as well, because not only are you a documentary maker and you're recognised for that, but you also now become a journalist as well. So what's next for you? Where do you go next from here? I mean, I know this took a long time and you didn't get paid for it, and I'm sure you wasn't even doing it for the money. It's about raising awareness about this horrific act that some of the people in our community do, and continue to do so even to this day. Is a sickness in some way, shape or form, you could argue. But where do you move on from here? Where do you go now?
The government.
Right.
They have not once acknowledged this problem.
Mm-hmm.
The government, I want them to sit down and talk about it. I'm not the guy that can solve the problem. I've never said that I can solve the problem, but I'm the guy that noticed that it was a problem, and I was the guy that stood up and started making a bit of noise about it. Nobody else had spoken about it, and my friends, I mean, the guys that helped me, mate, the guys that joined me, the guys that you see in that film, up until 3 months before that film was being filmed, we didn't know each other. Our paths had never crossed. We did not know each other from Adam. We lived in the same town, and that was about it, you know. And so 3 guys have done sort of have taken an idea that I had in 2009 and brought it to the mainstream, and that's what we were trying to do. We were just trying to get the government to acknowledge it and to talk about it. We can't solve this problem. I'm not intelligent enough to give you all the answers and to give everybody the answers. I wish I could, but the best that I can do is I'm in a position now. There's not many people that get a position of fame, or whatever you want to call it, notoriety, whatever you want to label it. There's not many people that will get that position where they will use it and continue to use it for the greater good. They'll get 15 minutes of fame, and what they'll do is they'll do everything they can to do stuff for themselves. I've taken the position I'm so blessed to have, given my history, given my past. I'm so blessed to be in a position that I'm in now. I am determined to use the platform that I've got to continue to raise awareness.
Now, the fact that you've won this BAFTA, you know, the team have won the BAFTA. How do you think you're going to cope then? Because a lot of people do see you as a hero, and a lot of people want to come up and, like you say, shake your hand and just say, well done. You know, inside, do you kind of crumble, or do you think, oh, okay, I've got to deal with this now? Because it's a part of fame, isn't it? When people really feel like they know you, perhaps even if they don't.
Yeah, it's something that I take it in my stride.
Right.
You know, it's not forever. You know, I'm like I say, I'm blessed. I'm truly blessed to have people that support me. And, you know, I'm really not a confident guy, but when people come up to me, mate, like it does something to me. Like today, I'm actually like, I'm holding back from crying. Like I'm really quite emotional about the whole thing, because I've been the bottom of the barrel, junkie, prison, everything else. You know, I've been the guy that would rob your grandma. Like I was that guy. I was a scum, absolute scum of the earth. Then to go from that and to build something up that people respect me as a person, and people like me, it's still alien to me, because, you know, the Paedophile Hunter only came out in October last year. So it's still kind of getting used to it. I've only, like, I lock myself away for days on end. I don't really go out. I only go out if I absolutely have to. And, you know, I always get recognised, and I'm always happy to have pictures taken with people and shake their hand and go on the phone and say hello to their kids or whatever. You know, you know, there's not many people that can get that sort of respect and that sort of, you know, the
notoriety,
sort of support,
like you said earlier.
Yeah.
Do you ever come to Nuneaton anymore? Because you are from Nuneaton. Do you
I
ever?
was there the other day.
The other day. And how, you know, how's your home crowd? Because don't forget, you said that you come from a background where you were like the scum. That's what you said, your words, right?
Yeah.
But did your hometown know you like that? And now are they proud that you've turned it around? If this man can turn it around, anyone can turn it around. Do you feel that kind of sort of like almost a role model to the people who feel there is no end to this? This is the way I have to live. I need to get my next high. And you've turned it around. You give your life a purpose and almost a crusade now to a certain degree. Yeah. Do you feel that, you know, you almost like, if you can turn it around, anyone in your position who might be listening to this show right now, who's probably sitting there thinking, you know what, I've got an addiction and I can't shake it. What do you have to say to people like that? Well,
you know, firstly, I don't think that anybody should put anybody on a pedestal or a role model or anything. But the one thing that the things that I can say to people, you know, I am the guy that has been, you know, like you say, I've been the junkie.
Yeah.
And never give up. Never, ever, ever give up. You know, if you want to stop, if you get that in your head, but you say to yourself that you can't do it, that's a lie. You can do it. You know, have quit. You know, it wasn't just heroin; it was everything else. You know, I quit every single drug, and then my last one I kicked was alcohol. 2 years.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Thank you. And you know, I can go out and I can. You know, people offer me drinks. I don't take them. You know, I'm strong like that. Not everybody's strong, but never, ever, ever give up, and never, ever think that you cannot get out of this, because you can. You know, it's going to suck. It's going to be the worst thing you're going to go through, like physically, mentally, everything, coming off drugs, alcohol, everything else. It takes so much strength. But if I can do it, believe me, if I can do it, absolutely anybody can do it. Until the Paedophile Hunter came out, until sort of we started winning awards, until I started to meet people in the street that respected what I do with my friends, until then, I didn't believe that I deserved a chance. I didn't believe that I deserved to be given, you know, a chance at a life. But I look and I think, you know what, I do. I deserve to have a life. And I'm so thankful to Dan Reed. Like, Dan Reed, I'm getting emotional now. Dan Reed has given me a chance. Dan Reed he's stuck by me. You know, yeah, we've got my lads, my friends, they were there, but, you know, they know how important they were to me. But Dan Reed, you know, we had arguments, we fell out, we didn't talk for a while. You know, it was turbulent because it's a stressful situation. It's like living in a sweatbox with a group of people that are all trying to do the same thing, but there's slightly different agendas. But Dan Reed, I'm being a hypocrite and a bit of I'm being a bit of a hypocrite by saying you shouldn't put people on pedestals, but Dan Reed and you know, Dan Reed is up there with Kevin Smith and Rick Mail as my ultimate heroes. Like, those three people inspired me, but no one more than Dan Reed. Dan Reed has allowed me to do something with my life.
I think that's, you know, a beautiful way for us to end, actually, is the idea that although you shouldn't put anyone on pedestals, as you say, it's really good to have role models. Just before you go, Stinson, because I know there's a lot of people that want to talk to you. Two things. Firstly, promise us when you're here in Nuneaton and you're in the Midlands, do come into the studio here for a cup of tea, if you're up for that. And then finally, let us know, how do you take your cup of tea?
I have tea... strong, with 5 sugars.
What?
But, yeah, I don't. The thing is, the reason why I have coffee black with no sugar. I have 1 cup of tea or 1 cup of coffee a day, right? So if I have a cup of tea, I have loads of sugar, and that is probably the only sugar that I'll have all day. I used to have 7 sugars. I'm doing well. My sugar addiction is slowly getting better. It'll get there in the end, hopefully.
And then do you have milk or no milk?
Milk with tea, black coffee though. And I'm more of a coffee guy, if I'm honest. I want to open a coffee shop when I've retired.
Oh, well, nice.
That's a dream. That's a dream.
Well, you know what? You come in with your blend of coffee and we'll try it out for you.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right,
fantastic.
We'll do that.
A big
Cheers.
Congratulations and lovely talking to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Look after yourselves.
Thank you.